Hello students, welcome back to your online class. Today I am going to teach a poem to the students of Standard 8. This is in page number 108 in your literature book. I wandered lonely as a cloud. This is a very famous poem and it is written by William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth was born in 1970 in Cockermouth in the Lake District of England. The majestic beauty of the district gave rise to his deep love of nature, which was reflected in his poetry. William Wordsworth was a great lover of nature, and this particular poem was inspired by a real life experience. So, in your book you can see on 15th April 1802, Wordsworth and his sister Dorothy saw a large number of golden daffodils growing on the bank of a lake. Inspired by the lovely sight of the daffodils, Wordsworth composed this poem. At the sight of this vast expanse of yellow flowers, that is daffodils, inspired Wordsworth to write this remarkable poem. He goes on to tell us that long after he had this experience, the mere memory of the sight would lift his spirits when he felt dejected or depressed. So, in this poem, we can see that there are 4 stanzas of 5 lines each. In each stanza, there is 6 lines each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines each. There are 4 stanzas. Okay. So, first of all, let me start with the opening lines. This is a very beautiful poem. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Here, in this stanza, the poet has compared himself to a solitary cloud. Just like a cloud floats over hills and valleys, the poet too has been walking across the countryside without any aim. Suddenly, while walking beside a lake, he saw a large number of golden daffodils that were fluttering and dancing in the breeze. They were spread out in long rows along the border of the lake and looked very happy. The flowing breeze made the daffodils flutter, and it seemed as if they were dancing. Now, in the second stanza, we can see, continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stressed in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. In this stanza, the flowers are compared to the stars. In the first stanza, he compares himself to cloud. Now see, in the second stanza, the flowers, that means the daffodils, are compared to the stars. Just like stars, the daffodils were shining as they were golden in color. Okay, so as they were golden in color, so they were shining and were twinkling as they were fluttering in the breeze. The poet says that the daffodils were stressed in a never-ending line. Never-ending line, that means in a continuous line. And they were visible as far as he could see. As far as he could see, at once in a glance, it was visible. It was see along the shore of a lake. Then he also says that the daffodils were tossing their heads. They were tossing their heads as if they were dancing in happiness. As if they were dancing in happiness. Then we come to the third stanza. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. Now, see, in this third stanza, the poet says that there were waves that were dancing in the lake, but were no match for the waves of daffodils rippling in the breeze. So it outdid, it's written, no, it surpassed the flowers, no, they surpassed, it outdid the waves. And the joyful dance of daffodils was a way better than theirs, means the waves. The joyful company of daffodils was the ultimate source of pleasure for the poet, and he can feel nothing but happiness in that company. See, the poet, although he kept on looking at the daffodils, but he could not fully appreciate the scenery before him. Why? Because it was in abundance and he could take away just a little bit of it. So he could not realize that what wealth he is taking along with him to his home. Then comes the fourth stanza. Here in the fourth stanza, this is the final stanza, he goes back to his house after seeing the daffodils. See, for oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, the flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. Inward eye, that mind's eye, the power of imaginations, okay, the images and memories that you drop, okay, when you remember something through your mind's eye. Inward eye means mind's eye. When the memories, through your memories, when images are formed in your mind, okay. Now in this final stanza, the poet says that whenever he lies on his couch and he is in a little sad mood, when he is little sorrowful, the sight of the daffodils flashes in his mind, okay, that is the inward eye, and becomes the source of joy in his solitude, okay. So when he is in a little sad or in a pensive mood, okay, when he is alone, he feels loneliness, but the sight of the daffodils gives joy to him, and the memories of daffodils takes away all his sorrows and boredom, thus making him happy, and it seems to him as if his heart is dancing with the daffodils. So, when he saw the daffodils, he could not realize what wealth he is taking home along with him. But after he goes from there, okay, and he rests on his couch in a little sad mood and he is alone, then that time when he thinks about the daffodils, all his sorrows are gone and he feels happy and joyful by thinking about the dances of the daffodils. So this is the images, and from the inward eye, okay, from his mind's eye, he thinks about it. Now, in this poem, see, the poet has used figures of speech, okay, to compare, as comparisons. Figures of speech are there. So, children, you see here, lonely as a cloud. So, he compares himself to cloud. This is a simile. The figure of speech used here is simile. And then again, as the stars that shine. This is also simile. Then, see, a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. A crowd, usually we use crowd for people, okay, and a host also for people, but then here it is used for flowers. Dancing also we use for human beings, okay, but here we say that dancing for the flowers. So that means this is personification. So what is the figure used here? The figure of speech used here is personification. A crowd, a host of golden daffodils, then dancing in the breeze, then this also tossing their heads in sprightly dance. So tossing their heads, okay. This is also treated like a person, it is personified. Then waves beside them dance. This is again personified. So this is also personification, the figure of speech used. And this is also waves beside them dance. Okay, this is also personification. Okay, so it is personified. Now here you can also see that one another form of figure of speech is also used, that is hyperbole. That is exaggeration, okay, to lay stress upon something, to exaggerate, okay. See, stressed in never ending line. So the flowers are stressed in never ending line. So this is hyperbole. And this also 10,000 saw I at a glance. So actually he did not go to count it, but then he is exaggerating and saying, okay, to lay emphasis upon the large number of daffodils. So 10,000 saw I at a glance. So this is also hyperbole. So these are the different figures of speech used. Here hyperbole has been explained here. You can see hyperbole is exaggeration used to emphasize something or to create an effect. So this is hyperbole. This is figure of speech. So this is all in this chapter, and then I hope you understood it, and till then, goodbye. Thank you all.